It was the year 2008. An army of 25,000 people were doing something for Facebook, in Turkey of all places. This was what set up the real grounds for global domination for Facebook. Come 2019, Facebook and its platforms have 2.7 billion users. That's pretty much all the internet users on the planet. What was the strategy? And what can you learn from it? In this video, we are going to talk about this. Hello, this is App Spotlight. We believe every great app should have a chance to reach the people who will benefit from it. And in this show, we show you how to do this. At the beginning itself, Facebook employed the brilliant strategy of getting people to invite their friends to Facebook using their own contact lists. This was an amazing strategy that got just a ton of people into the platform very quickly. But everyone knows this. There was a step after that truly allowed Facebook to become a global behemoth. A step that was very easy to forget and ignore, like many others did. Facebook was growing like mad, but they realized one thing about Facebook. It was growing only in the US. To become a truly global social giant, Facebook couldn't be restricted to the United States alone. It had to, literally, take over the world. This brings me back to the army of 25,000 people in Turkey. No, it wasn't an armed revolution that happened, but one may argue that it wasn't much less. It wasn't just in Turkey, but throughout the world. Facebook got armies of people to work on this one thing that allowed them to become the predominant leader in social media. They did localization. Facebook hired a director of localization. Yes, they had a senior position in their company for just localization, and then Facebook went on an absolute tear to localize their app to multiple different locales because they realized that we are growing really fast. Everyone's talking about us. When people hear about us in other countries, if they go to the internet and find out that Facebook's only in English, they might not use it. Then somebody else might pop up in those countries with a social media platform that is in the local language, and Facebook would lose out. Well, the people at Facebook, whatever you may think of their morals and ethics, there's no question about the fact that they're smart people. 12 years ago, they looked at the people on the planet and realized one simple truth. They realized that there are more people in the world that speak some other language other than English as their first language. And eventually, all those people are going to be on the internet and on social media. Well, they were right. In 2019, around 60% of the smartphone users in the world, or about 1.5 billion out of 2.5 billion smartphone users, use their phone in a language that is not English. Way back in 2007, Facebook understood this reality. They figured out that most of the people in the world are going to use their phones in a language that's not English. And if we don't win out here, we cannot become the largest social media platform on the planet. How smart was that? So what Facebook did was that within just 2 years, they localized their app to 101 different languages. Because Facebook did this, it is the #1 social media platform in pretty much all the countries where Facebook hasn't been banned or at least kept out by the government of the country. Facebook is the dominant social media platform. And when I say Facebook, I'm including their other properties like Insta and WhatsApp too. So, what does this mean for anyone with an app? Well, Facebook was able to see the opportunity of localization 12 years ago. So are you behind on this curve? Well, here's the good news. Localization is still not considered a priority by app makers, when it probably makes most sense to localize your app. Well, you may be tempted to ask, well, 12 years ago was great. What's so special about today? Well, that requires understanding a little bit of economics. And it's quite simple. If you look down the list of the countries that are growing the fastest in the world, you'll see India, Ethiopia, Libya, China, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Ivory Coast, and so on. You notice one thing about all of them? That's right. The primary language in these countries is not English. Not one. Well, you may be like, okay, but what does growth have to do with apps? Here's what economic growth in these countries invariably means. When these countries get great economic growth, more people in the country enter the middle class, get smartphones, and get on the internet, which means more app users with disposable income. The growth from developed countries is pretty much tapped out. They all already pretty much have smartphones and they're all on the internet. The competition for the English-speaking audience is fierce, and it's more than ever before. But very few people are looking at the 60% of people who are not speaking English, and this number is growing fast. If this wasn't reason enough to localize apps, here's another shocker. Today in 2019, localization is the highest ROI marketing activity that you can do. The highest return on investment you could get for any dollar spent on an app. If you don't understand why this is the highest ROI marketing activity, you can check out my other video, the best way to promote your app in 2019. Now, Facebook localized to 101 different languages. For most people and companies, localizing to 100 odd languages right off the bat isn't practical. Neither can you hire the armies of people to localize your app. If you want to know who to get your app localized by, I've left a link in the description of the people who do my app localization, so you can check that out. And instead of trying to localize to 100 languages right off the bat, what I recommend doing is to just localize to 16 languages. And these 16 languages capture the majority of all non-English speaking people. If you want to know what languages they are, check out my other video, what languages should I localize my app to. Now I can't stress enough how important it is to get reliable localization done by professionals. Bad translations could lead to bad reviews and it could destroy your app. Yet, you also want to get your localization at a competitive price. I've left a link in the description of the people I use for localization. I found them after making a lot of mistakes and they worked great for me. Trust me, this will save you time and money. Go use them. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos about promoting your apps, subscribe to App Spotlight and be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when we put out new videos. You've been watching App Spotlight. Until next time, keep spreading your apps and make the world a better place. Hey, still here? Check out these videos. They'll help you spread your apps. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to App Spotlight.